Hello friends, Jennifer Pearson here, Thistle Gypsy, and this video is about I don't know if I would call them maybe self-management techniques using calendars, and one is financial, what I'm going to show you here, and the other has to do with art and collaging. And I just had another idea for the art too. So I had expressed in another video that the way that I have done the tracking of my income and outgo for many years, which is using a columnar pad, for some reason isn't cutting it anymore. It isn't working for me. And so I came up with this, which is using a calendar that has pictures on one side, and I need at least this much space over here because you know, I actually am not terribly spendy, but when I do, I usually kind of do it all at once, and I kind of learned that from watching this. I mean, I knew it to some extent, but I tracked the expenses for a few months, some receipts that had piled up, and there are definite clusters. In any case, I thought I would share this just so that if anybody else was interested in seeing, in doing something like this, they could see some of the things I learned by putting stuff on here. So this is a mock page. This is not real. It's just as a demo. So what I have here is I have one color for income, one color for like bills that are regular and monthly. The blue color here is for just random spending, which includes groceries and stuff like this. These are more bills that I receive in the mail, this orange. This red here is an indicator that there's something over here. So this day is not full, but the idea here is that if this day gets full of little tags, little labels, then I will put something over on this side, over on the image. And so I intentionally got a calendar, and this is what it is, that had nice pictures, but not pictures that I would hesitate to cover up with labels if I needed to. I got these labels, I don't know if I looked up colored labels or something like that on Amazon. I might get circular ones in the future or something. These ones are a little bit too plasticky and they're a little hard to write on, so I won't get exactly this kind again. And I might, this I made white, but I would just as soon use a blue or whatever I'm using my general spending for here. So far, I'm really liking it, and I'm liking, like in a columnar pad, I tended to, have to come up with a balance for every single expenditure. And this also lets me very quickly get rid of receipts that I know I don't need. If I bought groceries, it's very easy. I just write, I don't have to even put the date because the date is here, and I just put the amount. At this point, I'm putting who it was from, because to me that's better tracking. Excuse me, I'm still getting over a cold. I think it might be something about this space. There might be too much dust here because I'm not coughing like this in other areas of my home. So what I do at the top is, this is a carryover amount here minus whatever I spent. Get a balance for that. Get, if there was an income for that week, then I add it here, and then I come up with the carryover balance that I would then put on the next page. So there you go. For anybody else who would find this useful or appealing. And I think the colors really make a difference. I don't know why, but they do. So, so that's the practical way that I'm using calendars. And this is dedicated only to spending. This calendar is only spending. There's nothing else that's going to go in here. There's no appointments, nothing like that. And the next one, and I'm not going to use it exactly like what I'm going to show you, but it's the general idea. So with my collaging, I've had such a hard time getting myself started, getting into a habit of doing it, and I have just a tremendous amount of material. And so what I did in this case is I took something like this. This is October, so this has this kind of layout for 2019. What is it? Is it October? Yeah, October through December. So it has like 3 months ahead. And then, you know, once you get into, this is February, but once you get into February, you've got larger, let me back this up a little bit. Yeah, you've got larger pages here. So the idea here would be just to, probably at the end of my day, maybe a little bit in the beginning of my day, is to fill this space with images that I have. Maybe one image, maybe several images, but whatever. I don't know if I will do, I'm going back to what I started with here. I don't know that I'll do this sort of thing again. It's just, I felt like I needed to try it to see how well it would work for me. And I really enjoyed it. It's kind of another level of letting go of producing a product. To do this is purely for my own pleasure. There's nothing else going on. I'm not trying to, actually it was kind of interesting to see how I tried to stay with the size of, I kind of started over here with the size of the cells, the little day cells, and then how I started to loosen up and ignore that a little bit. One thing that doing this made me aware of is if I'm going to do this sort of thing where I do have to really be selective with and trim images down quite small, then I'm going to, it's just very time consuming. So I have to set aside some time to do this many images, but I might not. I don't know if I'll do that at the end of each month or the beginning of each month, because of course it starts with with a calendar like. But it would be a lovely ceremony, really, to start each month with populating a bunch of images here. So we'll see. That means I've got to do this one. So I like the idea, what it ends up being for me is a collage journal. And I think that's cool, and it could be that next year, or who knows, maybe the middle of this year or something, I will do away with having to have a calendar that is giving me, let me get back to, it's giving me a specific space to fill on a given day, and I'll just get a an art pad or something like that, because I can see, I got the binder, the ring binder, so that as it bulks up by adding, thickness to the pages, it won't get impossibly thick, I'm hoping. And of course these rip out, so I can always just take them, out of here. what else was I going to say? Well, another thing that struck me after doing this and just thinking, you know, it's just so helpful. This reduction, when I feel like I've got too much going on, or when, you know, so this is a pleasure to me, but finding the time for it can be problematic. Dedicating time to it. Plus, again, I do get into notions of wanting to have standards, you know, like there's no space between images, or you know, all of the image will go straight to the page. So if I have a loose, usually I put my images on cardstock. If I'm doing that, I'll trim it at the end so that there aren't any borders and stuff like that. And this kind of takes that away. It just makes it another level of casual, while at the same time creating structure. You know, a limitation. Structure that has a limitation. Yeah, Jennifer, do it daily, but hey, just throw some images in this little slot here, and you're good to go. So, I saw something, and I can't remember the name of it right now. If I think to look it up before doing this, putting this up, I'll put it down in the information box. And I don't know if it's called Zen calligraphy, but it's not calligraphy. It's doodling. It's like somebody has retaught people how to doodle. It's kind of what it is. It's more sophisticated than that. But to me, that's kind of what it is. And I thought, well, you know, one thing I could do is that on a daily basis, you know, maybe I would, you know, do the collage part in here, but in this area, do like a little doodle. Do a little doodle. I have colored pencils, and just color it in, just as a meditative function probably at the end of the day. I could see doing this stuff at the beginning of the day. That was my impulse this morning. I did this in the early part of the day today. And it was just very refreshing. And it's just a really interesting, to me, the whole process of collage is really interesting. The decision-making process, what in this situation I select to cut out of a picture and what I keep. Anyway, so there's just some practical, and this just came from Walmart. The other one was like $10 on Amazon, so they're very cheap. I don't know if you'd call it, this is creative calendar use, but the other one's more practical calendar use. So it's my calendar, excuse me, it's my calendar therapy. Maybe that's what I'll call this video. Two different kinds of calendar therapy. One, financial calendar therapy, and the other, art calendar therapy. All right, everybody, I hope this gives you some ideas for ways that you might use calendars for your own self-management. Take care. Bye-bye.